Welcome to Classic Game Room, broadcasting from the Intergalactic Space Arcade, where I've got a treat for you Sega Dreamcast fans out there, the Dreamcast Arcade Stick. It's beautiful. Let's plug this thing in and see how it works. How about some Chun-Li on Chun-Li action? Chun-Li wins! It's Capcom vs. SNK 2 being played on the Dreamcast with the Arcade Stick. A wonderful accessory for you Sega Dreamcast enthusiasts. And a somewhat rare one at that. This does not have a Western release. Japan only. Why did they always get the cool stuff? If you're serious about your fighting games, arcade games, or old school shooting games on the Dreamcast and like to play with an arcade stick, this is one of the better ones that I've seen. For several reasons. First of all, it's an official Sega product made exclusively for the Dreamcast. It also looks cool, and most importantly, it works well. I like the big green buttons. Those are just badass. There's plenty of cord, the joystick feels joyful and works exactly as it should. There's also a little window for the Dreamcast VMU memory card to peek through and let you know what game you're playing, as well as saving your games. In honor of this being a Japanese exclusive, I'm using it with my Japanese Dreamcast, but it will work on any Sega Dreamcast. My import Dreamcast has changed color throughout the years. Someone left it out in the sun. Not me. Don't blame me. The styling on the arcade stick matches that of the standard light gray Sega Dreamcast, except for the bright green buttons and joystick. They seem way out of place, but for some reason it works. Probably because this is just a badass controller, and any color would work. Here's a close-up of the Lord Carnage Yellow Special Edition Dreamcast, and I'm going to set the date. I think it's important to note that you can't set the Dreamcast date beyond the year 2083. Try it for yourself, although the Sega Saturn says otherwise, and you'll see that in the next review. Enjoy your Dreamcast games while you can. How about Fast Striker? Vertical scrolling spaceship shooters work well with this thing, and NG Dev Team's games in particular will want you to reassign some of the buttons to work with the arcade stick. They even let you know it's compatible with the arcade stick. This thing is pretty cool. I like the fit and finish. I like how it plays. Although, like most of these additional joystick controllers meant to feel like an arcade controller, it's best if you can find a way to bolt this thing down into a giant block of granite. Although it's still pretty heavy and sizable compared to a lot of aftermarket controllers, and has rubber feet. But I find these things always end up sliding around the table, no matter what. It does have a cool textured surface, as well as good buttons. I'm not sure if you can play Seaman with this thing, though. It is way better than the standard Dreamcast controller for fighting games, that's for sure. In fact, you may find that it's better for a lot of games. It even works with Gunlord, although I'm actually more into playing that game with the standard controller. Just remember to change your button config to match the controller. A giant thank you to my homeboy Zach from Pasadena, Maryland, for sending this extremely generous gift to the show. It's going to get used a lot, because let's be honest, the standard Dreamcast D-pad kinda sucks, especially for fighting games and arcade games. There are some other aftermarket Dreamcast arcade sticks out there. The only one of those I can think of to recommend is the X-Arcade Tank Stick. This one is a real Sega product, and it's a lot less expensive. So thanks again to Zach from Maryland and Frank from California and NG Dev Team for hooking up this show with all of these awesome games. It's the Sega Dreamcast Arcade Stick, highly recommended for your Sega Dreamcast, of course. Sadly, it doesn't work on the Saturn. You know, coffee tastes better out of the classic Game Room coffee mug. It's a scientific fact. Welcome to Classic Game Room.